Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up, so if you want to see what I read recently, just keep watching. The first one I read is A Rogue of One's Own by Evie Dunmore. I did listen to this one on audio, but I do have a physical copy. So this one is a historical romance and it is the second book in a series. This one follows Lady Lucy and she has dedicated her life to supporting suffragists and women in general. Unfortunately, this has kind of made her an outcast in society. She and the other suffragists buy a portion of like a publishing house, but unbeknownst to her, so did Tristan Ballantyne, her childhood nemesis. So this kind of throws a wrench into their plans. However, he does kind of make a deal to Lucy and he says he would be willing to give her the majority share of the company for a night in her bed. So I did enjoy this hate to love, at least on Lucy's end. Tristan is a protective hero, but he has been secretly pining for Lucy and he would do anything for her. I enjoyed this one even more than the first one. I liked that Lucy and Tristan are strong characters and they both have had to endure like family hardships. I really enjoyed the cat too, and there is a cute play on words. At the publishing house, a bunch of cards come in and they call them Ballantyne cards. I thought that was a fun little tidbit from it. So I did end up giving this one a 4-star, definitely one I would check out. The second one I finished during the month of March is Would I Lie to the Duke by Leigh. This one is again a historical romance, and this is about Jess, and Jess's family business is in desperate need of investors to stay afloat. So she goes to London and tries to find some, but she must pretend to be someone of importance to put her around wealthy people. So she meets Noel, who is the Duke of Rothbury, and she does not expect to be so taken with him. As time goes on and they spend more time together, she fears like her scheme will backfire. So this takes place at a bazaar where people show their inventions or business ideas to potential investors. And I thought that was unique in historical romance. I really liked that aspect of it. There is a class difference in this. I enjoyed how they met and how Jess is so clever in the business world. I also loved like the male friendships with Noel. This one I ended up giving a 4-star and definitely will check more from Leigh. The next one I read was an Audible original, and that one is Coming Home by Kennedy Ryan. So this is about Touré and Naomi, who were good friends in college. They had chemistry, but they never explored it. However, they are both coming back to their university's homecoming for like an interview, and they, realize the chemistry and attraction is still there after all these years, but is it time for them to, kind of take their shot together? I thought this one was cute. I gave it a 3-star because I wanted like more from the story, but it is a novella. So some of the tropes is like the one that got away, second chance. Definitely another cute Kennedy Ryan. Again, I will read anything that Kennedy Ryan comes out with. I did really enjoy Real, and I did like this one as well. So I will definitely be reading more from her. Another one that I read via audio is When Breath Becomes Air by Kalanithi. So this one is a nonfiction. So it's a memoir about a young neurosurgeon faced with a terminal cancer diagnosis as he contemplates what makes life worth living. This was beautifully written, definitely brought some tears to my eyes. It was fascinating to look at what priorities we have when we face death. There is a favorite quote I have from it that I ended up writing down, and that one is, I began to realize that coming face to face with my own mortality in a sense had changed nothing and everything. Another one that I read on Kindle is The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate. This one is by Cate C. Wells, and it is a paranormal romance. So Una is in a pack and she is kind of an outcast because of an injury she had as a kid that left her leg without like good mobility. She has never shifted into her wolf. So wolf biology ends up kicking in and she realizes her mate is the alpha of the pack, but he ends up rejecting her in front of the entire pack only to later realize that maybe he was mistaken. So anyways, I did end up giving this one a 3-star. I realized reading this that I enjoy paranormal fantasy romances a lot. But this had some editing issues, like some things were repeated over and over. The word choice in some of the steamy scenes were a bit much for me, but it definitely kept my interest. So I might read more from her and kind of see, you know, how it goes. I definitely, like I said, I did enjoy reading a paranormal romance, and I do think I need to like read more. Some of the tropes again are like fated mates and like alpha male, obviously because it's a wolf pack, so it tends to be in those. So the next one I ended up reading physically, and that one is Fighting Words by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. This is technically a middle grade book. And so this is a story about two sisters, 10-year-old Della and her older sister Suki. Their mom ends up in prison, and they end up being taken in by their mom's like boyfriend. So something happens with Della, and her and Suki have to run from that boyfriend. So they end up in foster care, but Suki is still like Della's protector. Her world ends up turning upside down when Suki like attempts suicide. And so it kind of goes from there. Anyways, so this book was heartbreaking, but it also had some humorous parts as it is told from 10-year-old Della's perspective. I loved the sister relationship and the realization that Della had to come to. The realities of the foster care system I also thought were good in this one. There are a lot of trigger warning, trauma, suicide, parental neglect, abandonment, parental drug use, trauma, child sexual abuse. Like, if this book packs a punch in its 272 pages. Definitely, I think as an adult, it is worth reading. I don't necessarily know that I would give it to a middle grade unless I would read it as the parent first and you decide that. But it definitely leaves you with some hope. I did end up giving this one a 5-star. Next one I also listened to via audio, and that one is Barbarian Lover by Ruby Dixon. This one is an alien romance, and it is the third one in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. So this follows Kira, who is one of the women kidnapped from Earth, and they ended up crashing on the alien planet. Ihako is part of the alien tribe that helped the women survive on what they call Not Hoth. Kira plans on being single forever on the alien planet for reasons she's not sharing. However, Ihako can't stay away from Kira, and it kind of goes from there. I enjoyed this book in the series. Ihako is such a fun, like, loving character, and I loved like his sense of humor. He definitely was like, Kira's my mate no matter if they resonate or not. I love that his nickname for Kira is Sad Eyes, and he just wants to make her happy. He also gave Kira the best courting gift in a book that I've ever read. It's quite hilarious. If you know, you know. Another one that I read via audio is The Duchess War. It's another historical romance, and this one is by Courtney Milan. I did end up giving this one a 4-star. So this is about Minerva Lane, or Minnie, and she is a wallflower and plans to keep it that way. So Minnie has a scandalous past that she's had to like change her name and escape from. So when a handsome duke comes to town and starts noticing her, she doesn't want his attentions. Minnie notices though that what he is up to, and Robert is not fooled by her quiet ways, and it kind of goes from there. So this is the second book in the Brothers Sinister series. I definitely enjoyed the first one more than this one. However, this was still a good one. I enjoyed Minnie and Robert's characters. Both had intriguing backstories. And the last one I read for the month of March is Broken in the Best Possible Way. This one is by Jenny Lawson, and this is like memoir nonfiction. So Jenny Lawson is like a comedic author, and I think this is maybe her third book. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. So this book discusses her depression and her battle with depression and anxiety. It also discusses her physical health journey. So there are spots of humor and some relatable parts of the book, but overall I felt like something was missing. I really enjoyed the real honest letter to her insurance company. I thought that was a neat aspect of it, and I enjoyed that part. I also liked hearing about her relationship with her husband Victor, which I felt very relatable. So overall, I ended up reading 9 books this month, and I think that's a pretty good reading month. I did have, I think, 1 5-star, which was good, and a bunch of 3 and 4 stars, which again is good as well. Let me know what you read during the month of March in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. Bye!